All right, guys, I know it's Thursday, but I did want to get up the box office update for the week. I did not have a chance to do it over the weekend, and it has been nagging at me. Some people thought that I skipped it because of the success of Barbie, and that is definitely not the case. I just haven't had the time to do it. I'm also going to do a monster-sized movie update next week, over this coming weekend, so look for that as well. Possibly might go live on Sunday if I have the time. But let's take a look at this past weekend, and we're going to look at what actually transpired. So, year 23, date as of July 27th. So we have July 21st through the 23rd. We had Barbie worldwide make over $300 million. That's pretty crazy. That is worldwide. And, you know, what's interesting is everyone talked about how Mission Impossible actually lost money over the weekend. And it's because it was in fewer theaters. And that is just, those are just the facts, okay? And I actually took my wife to go see this over the weekend, and we had a hard time even getting a showing to Mission Impossible because everywhere was sold out, unless you wanted to go in the very front couple of rows, which nobody wants to do that. So they were still selling Mission Impossible out. They just gave a bazillion theaters. If you look at the theater count for Barbie. Now, Mission Impossible, there is no way that Barbie was in fewer theaters than Mission Impossible. That is just not true. If I should have taken screenshots when I was trying to show getting a seat at Mission Impossible. Now, when it says theaters, I wonder if that means screens or actual locations, and that's something I need to find out, because I will tell you that Barbie had a bazillion showings. Any theater I pulled up, there must have been like 50 showings for Barbie, and there were maybe 6 or 7 for Mission Impossible for the whole day. And so these theaters, that does not equate. I do not believe this for a second, okay? But Barbie did come out, and it made $162 million here in the U.S. Oppenheimer opened with it, and I did go see that on opening day with my wife. That did make $82 million, and you can see it was in like 25% fewer theaters. This also had fewer showings because it was a 3-hour movie. So some people have been coming in trying to say that, oh, Barbie destroyed Oppenheimer. No, it did not destroy Oppenheimer. In fact, both did well. You could see the average per theater, the money. It's because this had an hour extra added onto it that Barbie did not. And so they could only do so many showings with Oppenheimer, with it being as long as a film as it was. And you're not going to get repeated viewings on Oppenheimer. Some people will go back. The women are going to go see Barbie several times with their friends, their daughters, their mothers. That has some legs on it, and that is an anomaly. You know, people were saying that the whole woke thing was destroyed because of Barbie, and it really wasn't. If you do go woke, you go broke. That is pretty well known in the industry. And the only reason it didn't is because, you know, it makes fun of men. And there's a big group of people in this country that like to make fun of men. I had an argument on Facebook with people that this movie bashed women or bashed men. And I said, name movies where men make women look feeble, weak, less than. And nobody could come back and name me a single movie. Somebody tried to name me a movie with Marilyn Monroe from like 60 years ago. Then they came back and mentioned something that came out like in the 70s. And I said, no, modern films. Whereas for making men look less than, feeble, and weak, oh, there's plenty to name. It started with the female version of Ghostbusters. And if you look at the way they made the guy who played Thor act in that film, oh my gosh. Ridiculous. Same with The Last Jedi. All the men in that film were less than the women. That was the whole point of the film. It made the women stronger than the men. You had Thor: Love and Thunder. He was a complete bumbling idiot throughout the movie. And then most recently, you do have Barbie. So there are plenty of examples where they're trying to beat down men. And this is an anomaly because you have 50%, over 50% of the population is female. That's going to resonate with people. And so that movie, maybe it deserves its success. And I'm happy for them. It is an anomaly, though. Now, Sound of Freedom, you can still see that it had a 20% increase, which is a change. It's in 20% more theaters, but it is making a little less money. But you can see now that it is over $125 million, which is crazy for a movie that only cost $15 million to make. Mission Impossible: Dead Reckoning is in its second weekend here, and you can see that it made 118. The total gross is $118 million in the U.S. after that week. So this is in the second weekend, and it's a shame that it's in 64% fewer theaters, or the gross was 64% less. Again, it lost more weight, just a crap ton of theaters. Like I said, we had a hard time even going to see it. Indiana Jones is still on there, but it may be pushed out after this coming weekend because we have Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles coming out shortly, and we also have, I'm going tonight to see Haunted Mansion, so some of these movies are going to start dropping off. It's pretty crazy that movie did not make more. It should have. It's a good movie. It's just a lot of people didn't go see it because of the way Disney has been. But this last weekend was the biggest weekend. So if you look at box office results for Oppenheimer and Barbie, it's like the biggest weekend they've had in over 15 years. So it says here, we'll see if one of them says it. Also, Barbie had we're going to look at Monday, but Barbie had a record-breaking Monday, and it just barely beat out The Dark Knight from Christopher Nolan back when that was out. Record-breaking, here it is. Barbie beats Oppenheimer in record-breaking industry revitalizing showdown. And I am going to talk about what this means for movies in general here. But I wonder if they're going to talk about it here, because historically the highest grossing weekends have been primarily fueled by one major franchise installment dominating the market. Avengers Endgame in 2019, Avengers Infinity War in 2018, and Star Wars The Force Awakens in 2015. This is the first time two competing movies have opened to more than $100 million and $80 million in the same frame. And unlike the aforementioned record setters, neither Barbie nor Oppenheimer is a superhero movie, sequel, or reboot, signaling a triumph for relatively original storytelling in an industry increasingly dependent on pre-existing franchises. And that's what we're going to talk about. It was the biggest, like I said, it's the biggest weekend, showing that movies are not dead here in the United States. Well, in the world. It's just that people want the right content in theaters. The content is key. You have to have good stories, original storytelling, things that people are interested in actually seeing. So let's look at daily, and let's go look at Monday. So Monday was 4 days ago. So let's see, that's Monday the 24th. So let's take a look at the 24th. This is crazy. So Barbie made $26 million on Monday. Movies don't make that kind of money on Mondays. That is one of the worst days for movies in general, unless movie theaters are giving a deal. I know with Fat Cats close to where I live, if you're part of their club, you get $5 Mondays. And so it's some pretty crazy stuff. The fact that movie made 20, there's a lot of movies that don't even make that on the weekends. If you look at Blue Beetles, expected to make like 12 to 16 million over its opening weekend, and Barbie made that on a Monday? That's crazy. Oppenheimer is holding in there as well. You can see the numbers are pretty close. So this goes to what I was saying. People are going to see both of these films, unlike recent films that Hollywood has released. It's just some crazy, crazy stuff. And so let's look at the yearly numbers for 2023. Let's take a look at this. So these are the yearly numbers, what's ranking in there so far. So you have Super Mario Brothers is still number one at 574 million in theaters. That's in the U.S. I wish this would show calendar growth. I really wish it would show the total gross worldwide. I'm not sure how. That's the domestic. Let's look at worldwide. So here we go. This is what I was looking for. So worldwide, Super Mario Brothers, the movie, is number one. Made $1.35 billion. That's pretty crazy. Guardians of the Galaxy, $844 billion worldwide, which is respectable. It's not incredible, but it's respectable. You have Fast X up there at 704. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, 677 million. You have The Little Mermaid at 560 million. Barbie at 495 million after one weekend. Well, look at that. It's made a third of the money that Super Mario's has. This will have some legs on it, too. This, I don't know that it's going to reach the Super Mario numbers. I really don't. I would be surprised if Barbie makes $1 billion. It would be an incredible feat. It might be good for that to happen. It's good for movies. It's good for everybody. Ant-Man, now this is surprising. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumanium is still at 7. And you have Transformers right below it. John Wick Chapter 4. And I will tell you, John Wick Chapter 4, I'm going to have some movie news. When I do my movie news review, we're going to talk about John Wick Chapter 4 because they have greenlit Chapter 5. And that movie made $500 million worldwide. This is one of the best action films I have ever seen. And then we have Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1 at number 10. This summer has been just thick with releases. I'm really happy with the releases. There hasn't been a single film that I walked out of this year that I was disappointed with. I've seen Super Mario's. I liked it. I saw Guardians. I liked it. I did not see Fast X. I did see Spider-Man. I really liked it. Did not see The Little Mermaid. Did not and won't see Barbie. Ant-Man, I enjoyed. Transformers, I enjoyed. John Wick, I loved. Mission Impossible, I loved. Elemental, I didn't see. Indiana Jones, loved it. Creed 3, thought it was the best of the Creed films. Flash was okay. Oppenheimer, loved it. Haven't seen Dungeons & Dragons, haven't seen Scream. I don't watch all of these horror movies. Sound of Freedom, I loved. Shazam, didn't. Well, that's the one I've been most disappointed with, and that's why it's low on the list. And then there's other films. Cocaine Bear, I actually saw that and enjoyed that one. I thought that one was some of it was pretty funny. Stupid, but funny. All right, so there's kind of the update for the domestic. We're going to look at domestic. Let's go back to daily for 2023. So this shows what's going on. Let's see today. Well, yesterday was Wednesday. Let's see how Barbie was doing through yesterday. So again, it's neck and neck. You can see that the plus and minus in percent is exactly the same for Barbie and Oppenheimer. And again, that is driven by the amount of theaters and showings they can do. And these two are performing exactly the same. That's some pretty amazing stuff. All right, guys, so there's my box office update for the week. I'm going to do this on a weekly basis. My goal is to get these up on Monday. Now, that's not always going to be possible because, again, you have to understand, I have a job. I am a full-time voice actor. I also teach voiceovers. I run my YouTube channel. I have a lot of things going on. I do a lot of different things. And so it's one of those things where I may not be able to get these up all the time, but I am going to try and make this a Monday deal where I get this up. And on Sundays, I am really going to try to set aside an hour or two every Sunday to be able to get on live with everybody and talk about movie news. That I can make live, and that way we can have some interaction. Let me know what you guys think about that. I do appreciate the support, and we will see you on the next video.